Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. It's questions and answers from your IT security advisors. This is actually a re-recording since we had some technical difficulties with this morning's earlier webinar. We are not professionals, as you'll see, going through this. So as we stutter through our words and laugh uncontrollably at times, you'll just have to bear with us. So welcome to today's webinar.
I'm Jessica Musseau.
And I'm Brian McCafferty. So today we wanted to take some time to share what we've been seeing in the IT industry as it relates to our clients, and share what we've been seeing as we visit existing and potential clients. And we answer some general questions we've been getting from our clients over the past month.
So let's start off. What has changed in the last 12 months in terms that we hear so much nowadays is threat landscape?
That's a good question. So really the key change probably the last 12 to 18 months has been the change of focus from hackers and attackers from larger businesses down to small and medium-sized businesses. Larger businesses have really done a good job locking up their networks, and the hackers have just gone to, easier targets, low-hanging fruit. They're going after the small and medium-sized businesses. It used to be small businesses would think, oh, I have nothing to steal, but that's not true. They have a lot of stuff that's valuable, from passwords to information. And most of all, I think a lot of these smaller companies are targets for crypto locking viruses, where a company gets their data encrypted and the hacker holds the key and he sells them the key in order to get their data back, and they're simply not protected for it. So the threat landscape really is, if you looked across the horizon and you were worried about being under attack, it's, you see your neighbors. Do I have to worry about Bob attacking me, John attacking me? So that's your threat landscape. So as you look as a small business owner, it's things like state-run hacking agencies. It's Iran, it's North Korea, it's Russia. All of these state-operated hackers now collect the money through ransomware, and they finance things like the North Korean nuclear weapons program. So in the security world, there's three types of companies. There's those that have been breached and admit it, those that have been breached and deny it, and those that have been breached and have no idea. They don't know it.
Wow. So can you tell us how any of our clients have been impacted by this?
Well, like I said, everybody's been impacted. So while not going specifics, our clients have been impacted at various degrees, but we have a multi-layered protections in place. So the number one thing is really employee training, to teach employees what they should and shouldn't be clicking on and what they shouldn't be doing. The next thing is limiting employees' access to only what they need to access. So nobody should be logging in and operating on a daily basis as a network administrator. That's just, if their account gets breached, the hackers can own the entire network. Those should be elevated privileges. We use a multi-layered approach. We follow the NIST model, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which really is identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. So even if a client is breached, and we've had some that have been crypto locked, we know who's been breached because it's their own personal directory that gets crypto locked first in certain areas of the network that they've had access to. But for many of our clients, we're backing them up hourly. Now, this isn't copying your files to a USB drive or anything like that, because that's a one-time backup, and the hacking software, the encryption software, has access to those files as well. It's taking a snapshot in time and protecting that snapshot on a local device and then up to the cloud. So if you get hacked at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got a backup at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, so we can roll back until the point that things have happened, and we store only the files that were damaged. So while we cannot protect everything from everyone and every incident, you have to have the ability to recover when you are attacked. So
interesting. So what are some of the things that you're seeing when visiting potential new clients?
Yeah, so we've been seeing, well, it's not sadly, we've been seeing more clients lately. That's actually a good thing, but we run the same tool when we look at a prospective client. We run the same scanning tools that we run on our own clients. I go through and analyze the network, and it gives it a security risk rating. And many of these new clients have a security risk rating in the high 80s, sometimes in the 90s. And a lot of this has to do with people, with users having admin rights, multiple users having admin rights, multiple users or all users set so the password never expires. They're never changing their password. And then the most scary thing is the users that haven't logged in 30 days. Sometimes we'll see a company with 20 users, 20 active users, and then there's another 30 users that haven't logged in 30 days. And we take that back to the owner and say, why haven't these people logged in 30 days? They say, well, those are all former employees. But half those former employees are actually set to be administrators, have full access to the system, and also have remote accessibility so they can get in. And they don't work there, haven't worked there in years. So then usually the next response is, well, we trust them. They're good people. But credentials have a way of getting lost. People write their passwords down, and you know, trust but verify. If somebody leaves the company, their accounts have to be disabled.
Definitely should have an offboarding process.
Just like when we onboard employees with companies, we should offboard employees, and IT departments should be tied into the human resources department, and accounts should be closed, probably as that person walks into the HR meeting.
Now, most of these companies that you are visiting, they are already working with IT providers?
They are. That's the scary part. So, I mean, if you look at owning a home, and I know you're about to be a homeowner, so you're going to be in the midst of this soon. You drive into any neighborhood, and there's always the house with the peeling paint, and the porch rail is a little lopsided, and the driveway is looking rough. And then there's the homeowner who sealed his driveway, painted his house, everything is neat and trim. And the one who's taking care of his house is probably also the one servicing his furnace. The one who's letting everything run down is the guy in the middle of January whose furnace breaks down and he has to be 2 days without heat waiting for somebody to come fix it. People are the same way with their networks. They've let them go into a state of disrepair. They're not maintaining them. And it's just, I used to be a pretty decent car mechanic, but I open the hood of my car now and I know how to put washer fluid in it. There's a big plastic shroud over it. I don't know how anything works inside, but I need the car and I need it to be reliable. And I take it to a mechanic because they hook a computer up to it. They know how to keep it in good running condition. I do a lot of stuff around the house. I seal my own driveway, but I don't fix my own furnace. It's beyond my ability, but I need my furnace to keep my family warm, so I have it serviced on a regular basis. So what's happening is the industry used to run on what we call the break-fix model. So you never call your IT guy until something broke because he charged $150, $175 an hour. Nobody wanted to be spending that money. It was like, don't call the IT guy. It's too expensive. Let me see if I can fix it myself. And things got into a state of disrepair. You didn't hire the IT company to come in and clean your attic or clean up your network. And it kind of ran along and you waited until things broke. Then we moved to the managed service provider model where you give us a flat fee and we're supposed to manage everything on your network. And a lot of companies are claiming to do that, but they're not doing a good job at it. They're not performing their duties and they're not cleaning up. Just like the driveway, we don't want to have to put a new driveway in your house if we forgot to seal it. We want to seal that driveway before there's a crack even showing it. It's expensive for us to have an emergency. We want everything to be running smoothly. We don't want to deal with a down server in January. We want to fix the server as soon as it's showing any signs. We want to change the oil, whatever, put more memory in it, replace the hard drives. They're starting to alert that there's potential hard drive failures. So it's all about maintenance and these
maintenance and also being proactive.
Proactive is key. Those same scanning tools we talked about that we run on potential clients, we run those monthly on our own clients. And we have so many tools that we use to analyze the health of our client systems now. We sit through every morning, all the techs get together, and we go through all those tickets. And we have software that runs on our client systems that tells us every issue there is on every system that we maintain. And we proactively fix it. Our software actually fixes some of it for us because we've invested in state-of-the-art software and we've written the code to back it up.
Mm-hmm. So what are some best practices that companies can do now?
So first of all, backups. If you don't have a backup system that's backing up on a regular basis, version level backup and sending it offsite, and you don't have a backup. That's the other thing we see with companies like, oh, we have a backup. They have a USB drive, and they're copying files to USB drive. Those are going to be crypto locked anyway, and the building burns down, everything's gone. The next thing is no administrator rights for anyone, not even the owner. I know the owner always says, well, I should have full rights to my network. We'll be glad to give you the administrator account, but we want you to act with special care when you're using that. Just like if I'm using a power tool at home, I'm going to put on eye protection and ear protection. The administrator account is a powerful tool, and you should have heightened awareness when you're using it.
Not even yourself have admin rights.
I don't, not on our own network. I have to log in as the administrator, and then I don't have access to my email. I'm not doing anything stupid, browsing the network. So when I'm on the administrator, I've got the goggles on, I've got the head protection, the eye protection, ear protection. So that's number one. Limit admin access. Require strong passwords, not your daughter's name or your dog's name with one after it, and then next month it's two, or
doing password 123.
That's right. Yeah, none of those. Money used to be one. There was a number of key passwords. Those are so easy to hack. So password change at least every 90 days. Complex passwords. If you want to go the extra mile, multi-factor or two-factor authentication, which we use. None of us can log on anything around here.
No, constantly carrying your cell phone around
to generate those keys.
Two-factor, yep.
Yeah. So sometimes we get somewhere and it's like, I got to go back to my office, grab my phone. My two-factor keys are on my phone. So that's the biggest thing. And then training. So employees are sitting inside the network. They're clicking on links they shouldn't be. And that's when the employee clicks on a link, they're inviting the vampire into your house. So employee training is critical. We have programs out there to not only train employees with 5 and 10 minute videos, but then we can actually turn around and send phishing emails directly to them. So a phishing email is a targeted email that invites them to do something stupid, like download a virus, and we'll send them a mock email to see if they're going to download this virus or not. And then we report back if they've actually done it, and we can send them back for some more training. So that's really, probably the number one thing is training, limit administrative rights, and password changing, complex passwords.
Interesting. That's something that they can all work on. So we did have one question submitted into us yesterday. Question is, I worry about employees who use workplace computers for their personal internet searches that could then infect the system with viruses.
Yeah, so that's a big one. So limiting their access. So if that person's an administrator and they get something, they can obviously, which we just talked about, infect the whole network. But we do have other additional tools. One product is called Third Wall that plugs into our agent that we can use. It's an add-on, but it's really inexpensive. We can use it to block things like social media. Also, all the firewalls we use, our clients use Sonic Wall firewalls. There's content filtering. So we can block shopping across the board, but then go to say anybody in your purchasing department is allowed to shop, but they can only shop at Staples and WB Mason and Amazon or whatever you need to shop at. So we can block it across the board and then open it up for specific sites. And then Third Wall is a plugin that really allows us to dial down. So those two things would really help. And then back to training.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we personally do any training with our clients?
We've done training. We've done some with clients at their quarterly meetings where they've had their key staff in, and we'll be glad to come out. And we have webinars actually where we've done that training. We filmed that training, and it's on our website. You go up and look at our webinars as a YouTube channel so they can play some of the stuff that we've already done for clients. And then there's, of course, the formal training they can sign up for. We work with 2 companies. We're narrowing it down. We're probably going to pick one to go with in the end because they both have kind of competitive programs now. One is Secure Breach Now, and the other one is ID Agent. ID Agent is a product we're using that scans the dark web to look for stolen credentials. So the dark web is like the black market of IT tools, hacking tools, and credentials that are up for sale out there. So ID Agent will scan to see if any emails or credentials associated with your domain are for sale out there, which alerts you so you can change passwords immediately. They've also developed training. So these are 5 to 10 minute small videos. You run through a series of videos. And then again, we send an email phishing campaign back out a few weeks later to test to see the effectiveness of the training, decide whether you need more training or not. We highly recommend that people participate in those. We had a number of clients do it, and they've been really pleased with the success.
Good.
There was another question on the chat too about, are we doing this training? And I think that if I recognize that name, that was one we've done the quarterly training for, but they actually haven't implemented the video portion of the training. They probably should look at that.
Interesting. Okay. Do we have any more questions in the chat?
No, I don't see any other questions. And let me unmute everybody. And people are muting themselves back, so let's give it a second. So it doesn't look like we have any additional questions. So with that, this will be available probably 2 or 3 days from now up on our website, www.actco.com. That's www.alphacharlietangoCharlieOscar.com. And look for webinars. Also go to our security offerings and cybersecurity Go Wild, which is our new security program.
We're trying to do these on a monthly basis. So if you guys have any things that you want to talk about, any interesting topics that you want us to talk about, please send them in to us so we can hopefully get a new webinar up and going about it.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you taking your time out to spend with us this morning.
Have a great day, guys.